And welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on season championship night number 1. And we've got a few seconds before we go up with our next event. We're going to bring to you our Interstate Battery Youth Hornets. But I think it'd be a good time to thank a lot of people who are kind of behind the scenes on this show. The young ladies and gentlemen that sit and freeze behind cameras all night long. And we couldn't do it without all of the people to get behind this thing.
Well, and it's such a cool deal because there are not many racetracks in the country that have 2 hours of good TV time on CW11 each and every Sunday. So make sure you support the sponsors that you see that make this show possible. And it wouldn't hurt to drop CW11 a line and say, we really
let them know what's up. Before we get this field introduced, we want to let you know about T-Mobile. They're a proud new sponsor here out at Evergreen Speedway. Thanks to our friends at T-Mobile for keeping us all connected here at the racetrack. Okay, Interstate Battery Youth Hornets, and this is the lineup. In the number 12 is Sage Frazier, brought to you by Gearhead Garage outside of Sage. In the 31 is Lila Brown. In the 19D, sponsored by Everett Mazda, is Elijah Delfell. And outside of Elijah, in the 44, sponsored by Reppin Welding and Rail, Olivia Reppin.
In the third row, it's the 717 of Diesel Snyder, sponsored by Gearhead Garage. Outside of him, in the 21X, it's Ethan Payne in the Arnold's Walking Horse sponsored car. In the fourth row, it's Mom and Dad taking care of number 6, Dylan Deandra. And outside of Dylan, in the DL Enterprises number 20, it's Riley Riddell.
All right, the final participants in the number 59 is Tegan Bjornson. Outside of Tegan, in the number 17, Rick Chevron sponsored car, that's Owen Craig. Next row back in the 27 is Dakota Grushala. Outside of Dakota, in the number 18, sponsored by John Bender Racing, and that is Paisley Bender. Rounding out the field in the number 45, and I got some good news on this car, Tom. It was sponsored by Beecher Motorsports, is Chevy Vincent.
Well, you know, and you look at like Olivia Reppin in the 44, Reppin Welding and Rail. That's not rail cars. That's like railing for your decks, railing for your stairs. I looked at some of the stuff they do. Dang, it's nice.
They have got that figured out. Boy, Sage Frazier has got this thing figured out, too, as we are just getting wrapped up with lap number 1 out of 25. Look at this pack going into turn number 4 on lap number 1. Wow, 4 wide, 5, 6 wide. Holy cow.
And, you know, we can't even do that going down the freeway. And
nor
stuff.
would you want to.
And these are kids. These are kids, 12, 13, 14 years old, doing a great job. The only thing going faster than these race cars are the windshield wipers. And holy mackerel, that's still 3 wide.
Oh, that was amazing. I can't wait to see that again. That was so cool. That might be moment of the year right there. That was really, really well done. As we see the 44 machine get spun around, that's Olivia Reppin, as Tom may have put the hex on her about a lap or so ago, but that'll bring out a caution and we'll get it lined up. When we were doing the introductions, I had told you about a cool thing that happened with the number 45 Youth Hornet. Now, let's kind of give you some background on it as to why it's so cool, as we're going to see some replays of the 44 of Reppin get turned around. You see the wipers going back and forth. That car, the 45, is owned by Nick Beecher. And Chevy Vincent decided, I don't want to drive Nick's car. I want to drive my own. So that day, that afternoon, Chevy Vincent bought that car from Nick Beecher.
That is absolutely
so awesome.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how he gained all that money or acquired that money, but if he did, it's either mowing a lot of lawns, delivering a lot of newspapers. People get newspapers anymore than me, you know, but that's a really cool deal that these kids, and the neat part about it is these kids are going to be here at Evergreen Speedway for a long time, moving up through the classes.
They are,
oh man, look at that view. Oh, there isn't one.
Yes. Okay. See how it was for Olivia Reppin.
Might have got a little help there.
Might have. It kind of definitely got some help up front on the front end of the car. So we'll bring it back and get this thing back underway. They finally got it sorted out. So you see the Speedway Chevrolet pace car. We've talked about it all season long. That good-looking yellow Chevrolet Camaro. Thanks to Speedway Chevrolet for bringing us that. It is Sage Frazier, our friend Diesel Snyder in the 717, and to Ethan Payne in the 21K, making up the top 3 as they get settled back down. Lights are off. We're going to get this thing back underway for our Interstate Battery Youth Hornet main event.
Well, you mentioned Vincent buying that car from Beecher. Vincent went out and set fast time of the day in that car, so he got a good piece, had a good state of mind, and went out and made it all happen.
Well, now that he knows it's his, he can probably thrash polish on a little bit more.
What is that expression in racing? You can't hurt borrowed equipment?
That's right. And Nick's got to be feeling a lot, man, I've got some time to kill on the weekends now. I don't have to work on this Youth Hornet. But a really cool deal by Nick to get Chevy and his dad Sheridan. They Sheridan races and in our NASCAR Street Stock division for the first part of the year, has kind of had to back out of it a little bit, but still out there supporting his son and supporting Nick and helping out wherever he can. So things are getting a little bit clogged up front.
It's really cool to watch these guys. You can see right there, they're starting to figure out how to use that chrome horn, that front bumper, without turning those cars all the way around. And maybe some of the older, more experienced drivers in our upper classes could take some lessons from these people, because right now they're playing a little rough up front.
Ethan Payne trying to figure out a way to get around the 12, and the 12 gets in to the back of the car that almost got spun around. But Diesel Snyder in the 717 taking advantage of all of that mayhem going on behind him. As you see Sage Frazier now, there goes Chevy Vincent around in the number 45, takes the 21 of machine out with him on top of the 38s and get that thing back underway. Looks like the green is still in the holster, though, so we keep going.
Whoa!
Oh.
That was a quick closing speed. You could see that one coming. 44 car, not causing an accident and ended by spinning himself around. That's Olivia Reppin.
All right, we're going to take a look at this replay here. Olivia Reppin getting her number 44 car straightened back out and back underway. But check this out as they go in. Payne in the 21 really took it in deep there and just couldn't get out of the way of the 45 of Vincent. And Bjornsson gets into the back of the 21, and the rest of the cars managed to keep it on the right racetrack as Chevy Vincent goes for a little mud bath there, gets that 45 straightened back out, and then we go back to Olivia getting spun in that 44 again. So
some of these drivers took some lessons from Harvick and Chase Elliott at Bristol the other night, but I'm going to guess there won't be the finger-pointing, jawing, wild-eyed look that you got out of Harvick and Chase Elliott.
Yeah, they've had definitely had their fun out in Tennessee, just like our Interstate Battery Youth Hornet guys are. As Olivia just didn't have any steering at all. It looked at, poor thing, got her 44 car squared back around. So we'll take another look at it from the nose of Olivia Reppin's car as she took it down into turn one nicely, and then the 21 of Ethan Payne got kind of where Olivia did not need for him to be. So now we got that all sorted back out, and we will hopefully get some lights off on top of that yellow Camaro as they come out of turn 4 on our 5th mile flat track for our Interstate Battery Youth Hornet. Still, it's Diesel Snyder, Sage Frazier in the 12. Chevy Vincent is not going to, well, I guess he's going to try and pull back up into that 3rd spot and get back into it with 20 laps to go for our main event tonight, season championship night number 1, Central Welding. Thank you so much to Central Welding and all of their locations around the Pacific Northwest for being a huge part of what we do out here at Evergreen.
Well, not only do the drivers have to contend with rain on the windshield, holy mackerel.
Hang on to it, Chevy.
That was a spin out that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But, he tried everything he could do, but a great job by Chevy Vincent in that 45 car to pull that thing back. But my point being, you got rain on the windshield, the inside of the car steams up, just like it does in your passenger car. There's fans in there. They've got squeegees and everything else to try and make this thing a little bit more palatable, but it is a very, very difficult thing to do to race in the rain here at Evergreen Speedway.
Boy, Ethan Payne, or Sage Frazier in that number 12 has had a rough afternoon. Then we see the 21 car of Ethan Payne coming back onto the track from the same spot he did a few laps before, but still good action up front, still showing Diesel Snyder in the 717, who hasn't gotten any trouble because he doesn't have anybody around him. Pretty smart strategy.
Well, that's it. You can stay back there and you just kind of find your open, it's kind of like driving down the freeway. Sometimes you got to find that spot where you're comfortable all by yourself in the racetrack, but racers want to pass.
Yes.
That's what they want to do. And it's just that car in front of you. That's the next goal of the lap. But, man, these guys are starting to hustle down into turn 3, and you see cars going the wrong way. A little bit of a slide job. There's just one problem. That 45 car.
They keep
Chevy Vincent was right there to make it go. That old expression, 8 tires are better than 4. That's when you go down there and slam them in the door and go, oh, sorry, and drive off.
Owen Craig taking a look down on the inside. Really impressed with the run of the 59 of Tegan Bjornsson in the number 59 Shark car. As they come out turn number 4, we'll have a new second place, or a continuing second place in the 17. Rick Chevron-sponsored car of Owen Craig now up in the second spot. Tegan Bjornsson in third. Look at these guys, 3 wide. Bjornsson all over the track.
Save it. No.
Oh, well, she saved the back end. There was a lot of potential damage about 5 feet away from the back end of the 59. So Tegan will hopefully can still get that thing back underway. She's got front-wheel drive. She should be able to pull out of this if it'll go. So we'll get this one sorted out as we are just past almost to the halfway point of our 25-lap feature for our Interstate Battery Hornets. We'll have the Interstate Battery Hornet, or this is the Youth Hornets. We'll have our Interstate Battery Big Hornets, if there is such a thing. There is, but I'm not going to say. There she goes. She got it. Good job, Tegan.
You know, a really good job by Owen Craig. Craig started in the 10th spot, and through just halfway that main event has moved himself into that number 2 spot. Was, you know, contending for the lead right there when that happened. But keep your eye on that 17 of Owen Craig. As you said earlier, the Rick Chevron sponsored car, you know, peeking down on that inside, trying to figure out a way to take over that lead from Diesel Snyder in the 717 car.
Chevy Vincent has had a race he will not soon forget in that 45. He's back up now to the 3rd spot. Owen Craig in the 17, who's had, I think, the race of his season tonight in that number 17 car. Diesel Snyder with a win, if not 2 wins so far in the 2021 season for the Interstate Battery Youth Hornets. Just as been so much fun to watch that young man. Owen Craig now, your leader. Diesel put him back in the 2nd spot, and Chevy Vincent still hanging on in the 45.
There's a good battle going up front there. You can see there's about 5 cars closing in on that right there in the lead, so this thing's far from being over with 10 laps to go.
All right, you can see one car trying to make its way back out way onto at the back end of the track, and keep hanging on there. Owen Craig in the 17 now, out by about 4 to 5 car lengths, but boy, what a move, and a good one too by the 45 of Vincent. Put him up in spot number 2 if you're scoring at home, but Owen Craig looking strong heading into 1. Single-digit laps to go as we see the 21 of Ethan Payne. He's got more TV time going down the wrong way of the track tonight. Sponsor that car, people. That'd be a good one to get your name on, as we see the number 20 car of Riley Rudell in the DL Enterprises machine get straightened back up and back underway. But 7 laps to go. Owen Craig, Chevy Vincent, and Paisley Bender with a good run tonight.
And, you know, we've talked about this before, but this is a division, young kids, but these are 2nd and 3rd generations, a lot of them, when you look at names like Delfeld and Grishala, Chevy Vincent, Reppin, Rudell, you know, Bender. Those are all names whose fathers, grandfathers, mothers, whatever, paved the way to allow them to do this. And these kids are out here having a great time, learning a lot, and they are so much better now than they were back in April when they started this season.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and like Tom mentioned, these are the ones that are going to be moving up as time goes on, and not a bad way to get your kids started racing out at Evergreen Speedway in this division. And the cool part is, don't be afraid to get a car and come on out, because there's going to be a ton of people that are going to be wanting to help you keep this car on the track. A lot of families really enjoy this division a lot, as they should. It's a lot of fun, and the kids get to learn a lot of stuff. Keep it safe. They learn how to drive on the street better, which we all pray every day for. And looking good for Owen Craig as he's still hanging on now with 3 laps to go.
Craig, who was the 4th fastest qualifier, having a very, very good night, leading this thing, kind of pulling away a little bit from the 45 of Chevy Vincent. Interesting to look at. Lap 12, everybody the top 3 cars cut their best laps on lap 12, and the fastest lap of the race, a 19:2:04, also on lap 12 by Riley Riddell.
All right, here comes Owen Craig now in the 17, trying to get around Olivia Reppin in the 44. Olivia has been bounced around like a ping pong ball tonight, but still hanging in there. Good job, Olivia. As the 17 gets under, still see the white flag. Owen Craig, 1 more to go for Owen Craig. Chevy Vincent in 2nd. Paisley Bender looking to bring it up to the Angel of the Winds podium here in just about 20 more seconds.
Well, you think about what's going through Craig's mind, going ready to pick up the win. all winter he can brag, I won my last race.
And as well he should. Here he comes out of turn number 4, final main event of 2021 for the Interstate Battery Youth Hornets. Congratulations, Owen Craig, Chevy Vincent, and Paisley Bender. Those 3 are going to come up to the Angel of the Winds podium here in just a few seconds, and they'll get to talk to Greg Pyland, and you'll get to hear their thoughts of what's coming on. Let's take it down to Greg down on the platform.
Oh, and it was so much fun to watch you get through this field that we had out here in the Youth Hornets. But you did such a great job. When you got in front, it looks like you just took off.
Yeah, we got in front. I was just trying to stay there.
That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
And so did you feel like you handled the rain pretty well today? You had a pretty good advantage out there.
Yeah, I feel like the car is pretty good. Yeah.
I love it. All right, so who do you need to thank for being out here tonight, Owen?
Torgy's Trucking, Kent Collision Center, Rick Chevron, Cox Wheels, JVR, my parents, Tommy Gap, Quinn Morrison, and John Zareski.
Chevy, first off, with a name like that, you have to be a race car driver, right?
Yeah, my dad is. He races street stock, so.
So did you have a pretty fun time out there? We saw you got loose a couple of times, but you did a great job bringing it back in.
Yeah, it was really slick, and I just had to be patient. I heard like how the bumper was dragging, but I didn't know that it was the bumper.
Yeah, you got a little bit of damage to the front of that car from one of those accidents, huh?
Yeah, it's just the bumper, though. That's the worst thing that's ever happened.
So tell us about your sponsors, Chevy. Who do you need to thank?
I would like to thank my mom and my dad, Aunt Heidi, and Nick Beecher, which is my car owner.
What was it like racing in the rain tonight?
It was a lot different from when it's dry, but I'm not that good at the rain, so yeah.
I don't know. You got 3rd place tonight. I would say that's pretty darn good with a field of 13.
I guess. I think it's kind of luck, but yeah.
All right, and tell us who the sponsors are helping you out here tonight.
JBR, Joe's Racing Products, Cox Wheels Racing, Image Auto Body, my mom, my dad, my sister, my aunt, my uncle, Freddie Ballinger, and Mike Marshall.